Hello, this is Micah, another Ask Micah. I wanted to address a question I actually get a lot, surprisingly, mostly in private messages, but when somebody posted a comment on one of my blogs asking in a lot of detail about their personal situation, I thought I should probably address it. With these questions, I always get a story about the situation, and you probably don't want to hear this, but the stories pretty much all sound the same. Stories I've been through, so I'm not judging because I've been there, which is why you're asking me. Um, but it makes me sad. It hurts my heart. So uh, the question inevitably is if this person is coming back. It's 90% of the questions I get are about somebody else and not about the person that's actually asking the question. So first of all, let me just be clear that the people I primarily work with in my work are people who are willing to ask questions about themselves. They might have players that are reflecting something to them and they recognize that and they want to know what this should teach them. What am I supposed to learn from this horrible situation I'm in? This pain is teaching me something. This suffering that I'm going through is teaching. This dream I keep having is telling me something, or it's torturing me. Please help me understand. Those are the people that I work with primarily, and in private and one-on-one sessions. And obviously my market is primarily women, but I don't mind helping the gentlemen. And by gentlemen, I literally mean gentlemen. And this question comes actually primarily from men, surprisingly to me. I honestly would have thought it would have come from women more. But you want to know if this person is going to come back, essentially. Well, first of all, let me be clear to anyone who has worked with me or follows me on social media. I am not a fortune teller. I am not a psychic. Although people have called me a psychic and a shaman, actually, and a medicine woman, I don't feel comfortable attaching those definitions to me. What I am really good at doing is recognizing human behavior and patterns. My own patterns being the most difficult. But once you start seeing your own patterns, then other people's patterns become wildly transparent and predictable. And when I spend any amount of time with someone, whether it's a coworker or a friend, I typically know exactly what they're going to say before they say it, and often say it with them. Or I just say what they're thinking. And it's not because I'm psychic, it's just because I know them and I listen, I pay attention, because I have learned how to be in my own stillness, how to be meditative moment to moment. I'm working on it. The thing that usually throws me out of that more is joy and happiness when my heart bursts open, which is not a surprise based on my love addict patterns, that the heart chakra, the heart imbalance is the most common for me to throw me out of that meditative state. The scary stuff I can handle just fine. It's the stuff that makes me excited. But I appreciate the question. I feel, honestly, I'm sorry you're hurting. You're in excruciating pain. And what I'm going to tell you is I can tell you what will happen next, because it's what always happens, and you can answer your own question. The person on some level comes back into your life, and then they go, and then they come back, and then they go. That is the story of the love addict, love avoidant dynamic. And I am using those as labels to understand the push and pull dynamic, not because that needs to define who you are. If you are to push beyond that, if you want to push beyond that, then there are ways to do that. But if you want to focus on the other person and avoid looking at what this is supposed to teach you, the invitation to dig deeper in yourself, and you want to focus only on the other person, this is why you're asking me the question. because you're avoiding something. If you really want help with this, you would get professional help. There is no shame in seeing a therapist, because what happens is when you look at yourself, you're going to see that there is an unmet need in you. And 90% of the time, it's a developmental need. There was a point in your life when you were young where you felt alone. And when you're young and you're a minor and you're developing, alone means lonely, because you shouldn't have to feel alone. You shouldn't have to be afraid. You shouldn't feel neglected. You shouldn't have to feel any of those things. So we get into a pattern of looking outside of ourselves to fulfill that, because that's what you do when you're little. Because you shouldn't be in that position in the first place, and a caregiver, an adult, should step in and make that feeling go away. You should feel nurtured and loved and not alone, ever. And if you feel alone, somebody does come in and nurtures you and takes care of that. But then when you grow up, you hang on to that pattern and you keep looking for someone to take that away, when really that pattern, that pain, is part of your development. It's always going to be there. And you are the only one that can make peace with that. And you can make peace with it consciously, but it's always going to be part of who you are. And the other person can come back, and they will go, and they will come back, and another person might come in, and the pattern will keep repeating itself, but I guarantee you it will not fulfill that void. Not until you learn to make time for yourself. Get the help and support you need. If you are on that road and you just need guidance along understanding certain situations, what they have to teach you, what dreams have to teach you, that's where I can step in. But if you are really struggling and in pain, I implore you to get professional help from a therapist or psychologist, because anything that's putting you through pain needs to be addressed. If you have done that work and you're already on this path of self-healing, looking at yourself, getting to know who you are, and you just need guidance, and your question is more about, what can this do to teach me? What is this showing me? What can I learn from this? Those are the kind of questions I am very helpful with. The day-by-day stuff. How the work you're doing plays out in everyday life. What your subconscious is trying to teach you. How to regulate yourself. How to feel alone without feeling lonely. It is possible, but you have to get through the chaos and the pain, and you have to dig in, because everybody has an eye in their storm. Interesting. I didn't even mean that as a pun, but it just came out that way. There is an eye in there. Your eye. There's just so many meanings to that. You literally will see everything once you get into your personal eye. And I mean the letter I mean the eye, this eye, however you want to look at it. But within you, there's this space, it's not an emptiness. It's like the universe space. It's like the ether. It's this part of you that's still and quiet. And you're not alone there. You're part of everything, and you can feel and connect to everything. And it's so peaceful, and it's filled with love. And it's the kind of love that transcends the love that you're clinging for right now. And that kind of love comes too, but you have to get in touch with this love that is within you, that's connected to everything else. So that I can help with. And I think I kind of answered your question anyway, because it's pretty predictable. But if you want to stay in this cycle, the drama with it, I can't help you with that. I'm here to help people that want out of that drama, and they're crying to understand what it is they're supposed to learn, and how to feel alone without feeling lonely. I'm here to guide your spirit into understanding itself deeper. So I hope this helps. If anything, you can, it'll be a video I can send people that send me this question because I get it a lot, surprisingly. So I'm very sorry you're in pain. I understand the pain. I've been there for years and years and years and years. I was in that kind of pain. But I can assure you that if you do the work, you won't put yourself through that ever again. And you will understand and know love on levels and in different ways with different people. It isn't all about sex and romance. Sometimes it is, but not always. And it'll fulfill you in ways you can't begin to imagine right now because you're so blinded by your own suffering, which is valid. So listen to it. It's okay to be in pain, and it's okay because it's teaching you something. If you want to grow, you've got to dig into what hurts. All right? I'm sending love to you and anybody else that's listening and needed to hear that. All right? I hope you make it a great day.